What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about how Black Ops 6 has restored Warzone 1. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and with that being said, there is plenty of brand new article coverage also going up on dkdynamite.com for those who want to stay up to date with all things Call of Duty, whether it's Season 6 or, of course, Black Ops 6. I want to thank all you guys out there for the crazy support on today's live stream. As per usual, you guys absolutely crushed it. We were live breaking down the brand new gunfight update inside of the multiplayer beta. The open access period of the beta does officially end as of tomorrow at around 12 o'clock Central. They could, of course, extend it, fingers crossed on that one, but I also ended up converting some of the footage from today's stream into a video giving you guys a first look at gunfight inside of Black Ops 6 multiplayer. The new map Stakeout also went live today, which was a ton of fun, but it's certainly going to be pretty tough to put Black Ops 6 down starting tomorrow and to not have omnidirectional movement for the next month and a half. But when it comes to restoring that Warzone 1 experience, it's really not just about maps. But speaking of maps, I want to get this out the way real quickly. During the COD Next broadcast, it was confirmed that Verdansk is indeed going to return in spring 2025. This brings us to around the time that we're going to hit the 5-year anniversary of Warzone. We, of course, had the original release of Verdansk in, what was that, March of 2020. So there's no better time to bring that classic Warzone map back into the mix on a brand new engine with some brand new movement. This is very similar to what happened last year at the MW3 COD Next. They actually didn't tell us content creators about the new Warzone map surprises. They saved all of that for the actual broadcast. So I learned for the first time on stream last year that Rebirth and Fortunes were coming back, and the same thing happened again this year with the return of Verdansk. In my opinion, when it comes to what the map rotation is going to look like, I do believe with Season 1 of Black Ops 6 and Warzone in a couple of months from now, that'll probably be, what, end of November-ish, we're going to see the vaulting of Vandal, probably forever, and then we're still going to see Urzikstan remain in the game for Battle Royale with omnidirectional support, but they're likely also going to maybe vault Fortune's Keep and Rebirth for a limited amount of time, maybe until the mid-season or even Season 2, then they'll reintroduce those maps, I'd assume, with omnidirectional movement. But then I think for a majority of Season 1, we're just going to see Urzikstan in Area 99 until I'd say a couple of months later, Verdansk will likely replace Urzikstan for the big map Battle Royale experience. Now, for the last year and a half, Modern Warfare 3's Warzone integration has been playing catch-up, considering that Warzone 2.0 with Al Mazrah completely reset the Warzone experience from the ground up. There were so many missing quality of life features when the MW2 Warzone integration released over a year ago, and it's taken a little while to get everything back to where we were. After the end of 3 years of Warzone 1, there were so many quality of life changes that really did improve the overall gameplay loop, but considering they had to rebuild everything from the ground up on a new engine, it's taken some time to get back to where we ended off with Caldera. Now, MW3's Warzone has felt phenomenal, right? There's no doubt about it. A lot of folks are saying, oh, we're so back, Warzone's back to its glory. A lot of us have been saying that throughout the MW3 life cycle, and that's true to an extent, but I'm not kidding you. When it comes to the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, we are actually so freaking back. There is so much that they're bringing back from not even just Warzone 1, but even from Blackout that I couldn't be more excited about. So in the background, I got some early Area 99 gameplay from Washington, D.C. Now, obviously, I wasn't recording this footage on my usual setup, hence why there's a bit of a difference with the bitrate and recording quality, but again, I was dealing with different settings from the actual venue. Either way, though, I was really happy with the gameplay I managed to capture in DC. I think of the 3 COD Next events, I was the happiest with the Black Ops 6 event in terms of what gameplay I managed to pull for MP, Zombies, and Warzone. Maybe because Area 99 is a resurgence map and it's not a big BR map like Al Mazrah and Urzikstan were, it was a little bit easier to get some more fast-paced action here in this recording. Then again, I was also still playing against some absolute pros and professionals, so it was still a challenge nonetheless. But when people often talk about bringing back Warzone 1, what are they actually talking about, right? Because I see some comments here and there saying, oh, bring back the engine, bring back the movement, and I'm like, wait a second, the engine we're on right now is far superior. I think it's built for Warzone integrations, whereas the MW19 engine really wasn't, and that's why you saw a lot of issues when you're trying to integrate Cold War and Vanguard weapons with Warzone 1, right? Nothing was seamless like it is now, and when it comes to movement, omnidirectional movement is far superior to the movement that we had during Warzone 1, and that's a good thing, right? The game should just keep getting better, but there's even more that I'd say has been missing from the current Warzone experience that we actually had back in Warzone 1 1, and you guys might have forgotten about this. So let's start off with the backpack system, right? The backpack from DMZ was actually present in Warzone 2.0 for a period of time until they watered it down a bit and condensed it, streamlined it to fit Battle Royale and Resurgence better, and that was cool. That's the current backpack we have right now inside of the current Warzone. That's all going away. The classic inventory from Warzone 1 is making a comeback, so all you'll be able to see is your cash on hand, your primary and secondary weapon, a dedicated melee slot, which is coming from Black Ops 6, by the way. You can do that in MP and Zombies. Just hold R3 or your melee button and just take it out at any time, and you'll also be able to see your armor plates, the amount of ammo you have per category, as well as, let's say, a kill streak and even a gas mask. But the days of being able to stack up like 7 self-revives and a bunch of other kill streaks are now over, right? There is no backpack system in the Black Ops 6 Warzone experience, right? None at all. You'll also have tac sprint when taking out your knife and running with it, so I think that's pretty cool to see how tac sprint still gets introduced into the Black Ops 6 ecosystem. Things, of course, could change before Season 1 releases at, the end of November-ish, but on top of that, we're also going to be seeing fluidity updates and the removal of both the Guardian and Mosquito drone, which were added in during the MW3 Warzone integration several months ago. On top of that, global weapon builds, right? This is a new feature that Black Ops 6 has introduced, which people have some mixed feelings about, but I'd say we'd have to wait for the actual full game's launch before we can really judge this. The ability to create a build for a certain weapon and take that same build into any other game mode without having to change a thing. Now let's see how useful that ends up being, considering the attachments you need per game mode are likely different to fit the meta of that mode, but still, it's a welcome change nonetheless for the sake of Gunsmith. And you can also go ahead and engage with the new prestige system that Black Ops 6 offers while playing Warzone. That means you hit a new prestige, you'll relock all the content from levels 1 to 55 of that prestige, and then what that means is you can use a prestige token to permanently take something with you into your next prestige. So it's literally the Black Ops 4 system reintroduced for COD HQ. And lastly, emotes and sprays from Black Ops 6 are going to be fully usable within Warzone. Now, something that really reminds me of Blackout, and there's actually a few things we're going to point out in this video, is first care packages, right? These will be present in Area 99 and probably Urzikstan later on and Verdansk a few months after that. When you open one of these up, you can find anything from redacted weapons with a classified amount of attachments, specialist bonuses, a bunch of really valuable loot, which can come in handy for some of those sweaty matches. But overall, Area 99 was an absolute blast to play. I would say, in all honesty, compared to the other two COD Next events, I had the most fun in this Warzone experience, right? Being able to experience this early, although it was an alpha build, it was still great. I mean, as you can see with the map's layout, I think it's laid out pretty damn well. It's slightly smaller than Rebirth, but the action was always top notch. I think seeing the origins of Nuketown live in front of us within Warzone is brilliant. I mean, it's the perfect map to introduce for the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, and I'd assume Nuketown is probably going to have a big focus throughout Season 1, with likely some other offerings that are Nuketown related in other game modes as well. But the 10 main POIs for Area 99 include Test Site, Mannequin Assembly, Cooling Towers, Nuketown Shipping, Reactor, Bunker, Pods, Manufacturing, Warehouse, and even the Loading Bay. So the classic Nuketown from Black Ops 1 can be seen, but is quite destroyed in one of the POIs, as you'll probably see in the gameplay. Either way, though, I know I saw some criticism saying that the map could be a bit more colorful, it should saturate some other parts, and I'm sure there'll be lots of tweaks made to the map before it officially drops in the next couple of months. We still got some time before it actually releases. But do you guys remember the Armor Satchel? This is also a system that, for some reason, never came back into the new iteration of Warzone, but I believe we last saw it during Caldera. So if you come across an Armor Satchel, this will substantially, according to the blog post, increase your armor plates carrying capacity. I come across several satchels in some of this B-roll, as you will see. I also came across the Munition Satchel, which will increase the ammo capacity for ARs, SMGs, shotgun, snipers, and even launchers. So I love that they've taken away the backpack, but they've still given us a way to hold a little bit more through the satchel system. Now, it's also really cool that we haven't seen really since Blackout. I know Warzone 1 kind of dabbled into this a little bit through the Caldera era of Vanguard, the ability to loot perks. So in the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, they're going to be bringing us the Pick 3 system. So I love the play on words there, because we've seen the Pick 10 system quite a bit in multiplayer. What about a Pick 3 system, but for Warzone perks? So as they confirmed in the blog, although the perk system in Warzone isn't changing drastically, Raven is simply bringing you the elements of the Black Ops 6 experience that work best in Warzone to this next iteration. This includes returning past weapons, balancing the perks and other equipment on offer, and dropping in rotating and lootable perks into matches. So as far as what perks you can come across in your environment, we have Veteran, Dexterity, Tracker, Cold-Blooded, Tempered, yes, Alertness, Specialist, and then these next two perks are exclusive to loot and cannot be equipped to a loadout before a match starts. That's Shrouded and Irradiated, right? These are perks that we currently have right now in the Warzone ecosystem, but before you drop into a match, you're able to pick 3 of any of the perks I mentioned are in ground loot, apart from the 2 that are exclusive, Shrouded and Irradiated, and you can also pick from the giant list that they revealed in this blog post image. Now, they're also bringing in wildcards, so I think this is great since we last saw these utilized in Cold War, and they're back again here in Black Ops 6 multiplayer, but when it comes to Warzone, we've never seen wildcards before. So it's unclear which wildcards we're going to see, but one of the blog post images does show us Overkill and Gunfighter, so that's good to know that those will be in rotation, and they'll likely add more wildcards over the course of the game's life cycle. But if you die, your equipped pick 3 perk pack, that's a tongue twister there, will be dropped. And like the current experience in Warzone, those perks can be obtained by somebody that grabs them, right? So during a match, you can gather more than your pick 3 loadout perks by finding other perks around the environment. So as they confirm as well, just to remind us, they're going to rotate these perks from the ground loot ecosystem, likely at least once or twice a season, which I think is phenomenal. But another really crazy change that will really take Warzone to the next level and sparks up a really interesting discussion is the introduction of Mastery Camos. So we have Gold Tiger, King's Ransom, Catalyst, and even Abyss. Now, I do believe that the way you unlock camos in Warzone will be structured just like multiplayer and zombies, where they're broken into 3 categories. We have military, special, and mastery, right? The military category gives you a set of 9 camos you can actually unlock, but through headshot milestones, and I'm sure those headshots will be exclusive to multiplayer, whereas maybe they're the same or different for zombies, but I doubt they're going to require you to get headshots in Warzone. That would be crazy. There's also 2 special camo unlocks, which are tailored to that gun that you're unlocking camos for, and then there's the mastery camos, right? Those are the 3 ways in which you'll get camos for every Black Ops 6 weapon, no matter what mode you're playing, but it's unclear what the actual challenges are. We just have to speculate, right? How will Warzone mastery camo grinding work, especially when you're using a non-meta weapon that isn't very good in Warzone, even if it's good for, let's say, MP or zombies? How will that change up the flow of every match? I mean, this could probably create a situation where you may see significantly easier lobbies, at least whenever new weapons get introduced, because you have so many folks out there trying to get the camos for those weapons, so not as many folks are going to be running the absolute god tier meta of that season. So this can actually really improve the matchmaking a little bit for Warzone altogether and tone down the SBMM complaints. On top of that, they're going to be introducing reticle challenges like we see in Black Ops and even Dark Ops in Warzone for the very first time, which is crazy to think about, right? This absolutely will change Warzone forever. But to kind of wrap things up a little bit, there's also quite a few other changes that aren't going to be releasing until later in Season 1, presumably Reloaded, if that's what, middle, end of December, or maybe early January after devs come back from the holiday break. We have Big Map Lockdown. The LTM that we have on Resurgence is coming to Urzikstan, so that's really exciting. On top of that, Big Map Battle Royale is also going to come later in Season 1. That's also for Urzikstan. But then there's other quality of life updates that flash for like a split second during the pre-brief that I managed to grab, and these quality of life updates will be released throughout the first season. We're talking weapon rarity outlines, mantling improvements, pick up self-revives while downed, downed enemies don't trigger high alert, bounty threat level sound cue, reduced in-game splashes, minimize loot cards when looking at loot, med cabinets loot drop improvements, live ping duration reduction, pinging loot triggers a navigation ping, and coming towards the end, firing range improvements, added stats to top left corner, default to Warzone perks, dummies respawn faster, plate default values based on title, and then weapon details specific to Warzone. Like, what? Yes, we are getting the firing range back in Black Ops 6 for those that weren't aware. We just don't have access to it right now in the beta. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. For anybody out there that says Warzone 1 needs to come back, you know, bring Warzone back to its glory, send them this video, because I shit you not, Warzone 1 is indeed coming back, but better than it ever was. They're taking everything that's worked so well with the MW3 integration and merging that with a phenomenal Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, and then we get a new map right away in Season 1. Area 99, Verdansk a few months later, Rebirth and Fortunes will probably be added into the mix on top of that. We're in for a crazy year and probably the best year for Warzone that we've had in a very long time. But with that being said, really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.